Okay, now I would like to discuss the double wrist lock, and now there seems to be a phenomenon where they're bringing the double wrist lock, they're bringing your arm into your body real close to get this to work, and that's, again, personally I find that hard to believe, because that's really how you want to counter. You never want the arm in on a double wrist lock, because the closer my arm is to my body, it unites my force, and it makes this hold much easier to counter. When your arm is out and away from your body, you're weak. Again, like carrying groceries. When you carry them in tight like this, you're strong. When you're out here, or you're carrying weight out here or out here, you become weaker. So you want to take the arm away from the body, not bring it in. So I'm going to show a couple of counters, or whatever you want to call it, to the, what I call the improper double wrist lock, or the show version of it. Again, these will work against a compliant partner or against someone who doesn't know the counters, don't get me wrong. One thing is, though, against a slick person, when you bring the arm in against a good catch wrestler, or he brings it in, or you bring it in yourself, which you should never do, the guy on top will counter into a key lock, which can be a devastating submission. So you have to watch out for that. You have to act quick. But first I'm going to show what you do, the mechanics, before he gets on top of it, okay? So you can see what's happening. Now, people are showing to start the double wrist lock from roughly this position. Again, anytime it's close, you can grab your own material or something, but more importantly is, when the guy's laying across the chest, and you'll see this in a second, he has no control of your legs, no control of your hips. I can sway my hips, I can bridge. This is important, because what you're going to do is, once you sense your arm is in here, you're going to bridge up and over just a little bit. He cannot stop this. He's not going to be able to. This is all you're going to do. And then you're going to use the strength of your legs to help straighten out your arm, because you don't want to leave it in this position, because a good guy's going to chain to a key lock. So once you're here, you straighten out your legs, you straighten out your arm via your legs, and then you get your arm free. How do you get it free depends on where his arms end up, but you definitely don't want it back in any kind of a bent position. You don't want it in a straight arm position out here. You want it near your body. And again, depending on where this arm is, if my arm is over top or underneath, gives me a couple other options. If it's underneath and he's not wise enough to start circling towards the head, I can escape out the side door, or I can reach across and counter. So he's going to get on top of me, and we're going to show, excuse me, just exactly what I'm talking about. So he's got that double wrist lock, and he's bringing it in towards my body. Now, if I let him crank, go ahead and crank it. If you've got any kind of shoulder girdle flexibility, you might be able to fight it off, and so on and so forth. But this is the key. When it's here, since he doesn't have any pressure here, he can't stop even a little bit of a bump. All I'm going to do is bump it up underneath my body. And now I'm going to actually flatten my hand, because he can't reach my fingers. Then from here, all I'm going to do is use my strength of my legs to push and help straighten out my arm. Just like that. Now his grip is negated. He's got nothing. If I have hands, I'm going to grab, or I'm going to just come in for a body lock and work from there. Okay, again, we'll do that. He's got the double wrist lock. He's bringing it in towards my body. I shift over. Now I use my legs. Boom! In conjunction with my arm, straightening it out, and we're fine. Now I'm just going to, wherever I end up is cool. But most don't move, please freeze. Most of the time, when people end up here and they've blown the double wrist lock, they don't think quick enough. They leave that head dangling, and I'm not going to go hard because he's got an injured neck. But you're in perfect position, to head scissor this man, or a few other counters. But it's so important that you realize, do not ever bring this arm in towards your body. He can't stop me from moving over, and once it's close to my body and my legs are here, it's so easy for me to just use the strength of my legs you know, to counter him. Now, to further this note, let's say you were a little slow on the uptake, and he starts to crank. He's moving you up a little bit, and he's starting to crank. Here's what I want you to do. Just push towards the ground. You got the ground, use your legs, and again, rock yourself over. Let me just get up a second. Rock yourself over your arm, or close to it, just like we were before, and you do the same move again. So it's 2 for the price of 1. You're using the same submission, or the same, excuse me, counter to the submission. Now, if my arm is underneath him when he attempts to do this, and he brings my arm close to my body, no, if he brings it close, sometimes I can just reach in here and grab his forearm in this case. Once in a while, you'll be lucky and be able to grab your own hands. If you can grab your own hands, and again, put it as close to your hip or close to your ribs, no, stay on me, don't make anything easy. And he's close here, he's not going to be able to crank you, okay? Now I can use my body, you know, using my hips to just instantly get a stronger grip. Or as I said earlier, go ahead, grab it up again. I can reach in here, and now he's not going to be able to counter me, or to crank me. And if he's still foolish enough to try, he can go ahead and attempt. He's just not going to get anywhere. My hand is here, blocking this, and I can stay here all night long. I am not exerting any energy whatsoever. Third option from here is, especially if you're coy and you let him start to crank just a little bit, go ahead. As I'm just sliding myself out. I didn't even have to bridge hard. I'm out, and then from here, the fight begins. So, it's never, ever, 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 I don't know how many evers I can add to this, smart to bring the double wrist lock to the body. Way too easy to counter. Now, one thing I